Hope you've had a really good weekend. It's time for this week's story theme, and we are going to be reading a really lovely book this week. It's this one, and it's called Almost Anything, and it's by Sophie Henn. Okay, it's a really lovely story, and it's all about believing in yourself, okay, and knowing that if you put your mind to it, you can achieve anything, okay? So let's get on and find out what happens. Almost anything. It was the sort of day for doing almost anything, and everyone was busy with this and that. Everyone except George. George didn't think he could do this or that. So George did nothing. That's a shame, isn't it? Can you see that all the things that the other animals are doing? They're all getting ready for their days, doing the things that they really enjoy doing. "Hello, George," said Otter. "And what are you up to?" "Oh, nothing," said George. "Well, why don't you come and do some painting with me?" said Otter. "That does look good," said George. "But I can't paint." Poor George. "Come and do some dancing with us then," said Hedgehog. "That does sound like fun," said George. "But I can't dance." Oh dear. He's a bit negative, isn't he? Then Badger asked George if he would like to play skittles. "That does look smashing," said George. "Only I can't play skittles." "You could help me fly my kite," said Fox. "Or try a spot of roller skating," said Beaver. "I'd love to." "But I can't," said George rather sadly. "My paws are too fumbly for flying kites, and I can't do roller skating. I'm a little bit wobbly." So George did nothing. Now Bear, who had watched all of this, was as smart as he was old. She was old, and she was very old. She took a sheet of paper, folded it once, twice, 3 times more. "George," said Bear, "come over here. I have something for you." "For me?" asked George. "For you," said Bear, as she handed him a small paper hat. "It's magic." There it is, look, the magic hat. Does it look magic to you? "Really?" asked George. "Really," said Bear. "If you wear this hat, I'm quite sure you will be able to do almost anything, even roller skating." "But Bear, I can't." "You can, George," said Bear. "Just pop the hat on." So George did pop the hat on and the roller skates, and off he went. Oh! He doesn't look like he's doing so well, does he? But at least he's got on them. "Oh, Bear," cried George. "You said if I wore the magic hat, I could do almost anything. But I can't. I'm just too wobbly." "Of course you can," said Bear. "You just need to give the magic a chance. Have another go, George." So George gave the magic a chance, and he had another go. And after a time he found he was roller skating. "Hooray! The magic hat is working," said George. "I wonder what else it can do." He's got much more confident now. George dared to try a little dancing. And in no time at all, he found that his footwork was quite fancy indeed. "Well, how about that?" said George. "I can dance." George leapt and twirled and jigged until his feet felt weary, and then he tried a spot of painting. "Hurrah," said George. "I can paint." Look, he's done some lovely pictures. You see those? Really nice. After all that, George thought he might try a little bit of reading. "Look, Bear, look at me." "I'm reading," said George. "Oh, thank you, Bear. I love my magic hat." And just like that, George found he was extremely busy doing this. Look, he's flying a kite there. And that, he's bouncing on a pogo stick. And more besides. Can you see what other things he's been doing? Swinging on a swing, knitting, and then playing chess. Until, have you noticed anything about George in these pictures? From here to here to here. Is there something missing? "No!" cried George. "Oh, Bear, the hat is lost. The magic is gone, and now I can't do almost anything." "Don't worry," said Bear. "The hat may be lost, but the magic isn't gone. You see, George, that hat was only folded up paper. The magic, that came from you." "I'm magic," said George. "You are," said Bear. "Just think of all those wonderful things you did." And he did, didn't he? With or without the hat. George, when you give your magic a chance, you can do almost anything. "I can," said George. "I can." And once George knew this, he tried ever so hard to always give his magic a chance. Even when he was a little bit wobbly. And he is, look, he's gone a bit zigzaggy on the road, but he's still trying. And the more he tries, the better he will get. And that's the end. So, George learnt a lot about himself, didn't he, in that story? He found out that if he believed in himself and he saw the magic in himself, then he could do almost anything. And that's something that you're going to be challenging yourself to do this week. You're going to think about all the things that you've really wanted to do. Maybe it's just something like taking the stabilizers off your bike and trying to ride the bike by yourself. Or learning to tie your shoelaces. Or reading a school reading book all by yourself. Loads of different things. And I've given you some ideas on the learning grid. There's some things that you're going to try and give them a chance and see how well you do this week, okay? And if you do them, will you video it or draw a picture or take a photograph and send it to me on Seesaw? And then I can see all the things that you've been trying to have a go at this week. I'm really excited to see, okay? So look forward to seeing you at school this week and enjoy the rest of the week, catching up with all the activity grid activities too. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.